I want to remind you of something then, because I don't know if you recollect this conversation that we had. I can't remember whether it was before Volkanovski or whether it was before Holloway, all right? But it was one of those conversations that we had in the build-up to this fight. And it's about predictions, and it's about predicting the future. You said to me, without even flinching, because I asked you, what's your goals and ambitions?
Okay.
And you said to me, I'm going to be a 3-weight world champion.
Oh my God.
Before I'm 30, it's going to happen. Ilia Topuria isn't simply preparing, he's orchestrating a hunt. He confesses that the moment his strike lands, he witnesses the spark fade from his opponent's consciousness before they even crumble to the canvas. A whispered apology escapes as they fall. Understanding the battle concluded, the instant contact was made. This transcends mere confidence. It's a methodical, brutal truth he's been honing in private. The fighting community believes they've witnessed devastating power, but Topuria operates at a threshold that defies human limitation, no longer merely competing. He's evolved into a calculated destroyer, engineered specifically to dismantle champions. With the White House confrontation approaching, Ilia Topuria isn't just training, he's metamorphosing into a more deadly force than previously imagined. Every session becomes increasingly precise, each sparring round more vicious than before, particularly knowing he'll face Justin Gaethje, whose essence embodies pure chaos, and when systematic precision collides with uncontrolled violence at such elevated stakes, victory and defeat become secondary to leaving an indelible impression. Ilia stands prepared for everything. Within the shadowed recesses of his gym, Topuria achieves the impossible against seasoned professional boxers. These warriors have devoted their existence to pugilistic mastery, yet Ilia renders them unconscious effortlessly. He understood early that conquering specialists within their domain means MMA competitors stand zero chance. Hope for knockouts no longer exists. He approaches them as mathematical inevitabilities. Each training session becomes a massacre where he explores human durability limits, demonstrating his fists carry unprecedented weight compared to anyone in his division. The journey to this pinnacle was turbulent, with a monumental secret nearly altering UFC's trajectory. Before the Gaethje confrontation materialized, Ilia stood moments away from a legacy-defining battle with Islam Makhachev. That encounter was closer to fruition than anyone suspected, a strategic duel between two supremely dangerous individuals. When circumstances shifted and Gaethje's name appeared on contracts, Ilia remained unfazed. He viewed it as transitioning from one elite adversary to another, switching from tactical grappling to pure unbridled mayhem that perfectly suits his current transformation. There exists a chilling sensation Ilia articulates that distinguishes him from every striker on the roster. It's instinctive, a physical recognition occurring milliseconds after knuckle meets flesh. He predicts the outcome before officials react. It's a ruthless, almost merciless realization where he senses victory while opponents remain standing. While most fighters scramble desperately for finishes, Topuria mentally advances to post-fight celebrations. He characterizes it as an incredible sensation, a moment of absolute clarity transforming chaotic combat into silent completed work instantly. His conviction isn't rooted in wishful thinking, but forged through accomplishments beyond public view. Topuria understands his capabilities intimately because he consistently defeats elite strikers deliberately brought to test him, including lifelong boxing devotees. Potential no longer applies to him, having achieved success within his training sanctuary's comfort. Zero doubt exists that this dominance will manifest during actual competition. The most startling revelation involves Ilia being explicitly informed he wouldn't participate in the White House event. UFC executives personally contacted him stating no available position existed for this historic occasion. Most fighters would surrender or voice complaints publicly, but Ilia simply refused to accept their decision. He possessed unwavering conviction regarding his indispensable value. He considers himself the UFC's flagship attraction, a brand too powerful for any event to exclude his presence. He continued training as if the bout was confirmed, even when everyone declared otherwise. Beyond results, the experience itself generates such confidence. According to Topuria, the sensation resembles intuition, where he instantly recognizes success the precise moment his fist contacts his opponent's face. Though it appears harsh and potentially cruel, for him the reality remains undeniable. He experiences distinct confirmation, telling him victory is secured before opponents touch the ground.
What does it feel like to knock somebody out?
This sounds a little bit weird.
While other fighters modify strategies during fight week, Topuria's approach becomes immutable before camp's opening day. He rejects randomness or improvising once the cage seals. His team dissects every microscopic opponent habit, deconstructing them into exploitable patterns with surgical accuracy. He concentrates on merely 3 or 4 combinations, drilling until they become reflexive. By confronting Gaethje, thinking ceases. He executes programming rehearsed countless times mentally. While most fighters become overwhelmed when knockouts connect, Topuria appears perpetually ahead of the pandemonium. He doesn't perceive finishes as shocking emotional surges, but anticipated outcomes, founded on beliefs that maintaining composure, precision, and patience eventually reveals openings. And when they materialize, hesitation doesn't follow, but sudden inevitable explosions, transforming quiet observations into fight-ending moments instantaneously. In his mind, that moment never questioned if, only when, established long before cage doors close.
Yeah, I like the way you did that. Me as a fan, right? Understanding what you've just said. You've trained, you've done your full camp, you've just landed that blow.
Yeah.
The guy goes over, the crowd is going absolutely
how crazy is that?
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
But you never lose your mind in that moment. Maybe you're going crazy inside, I don't know. But you always seem so serene and so calm in that moment.
Examining Ilia's conquered opponents reads like Hall of Fame enrollment. Volkanovski, Holloway, Oliveira, and now Gaethje. He discusses these warriors with reverence, bordering on worship, labeling them exceptional athletes who achieved greatness. Yet that respect doesn't prevent envisioning their destruction. He acknowledges the surreal nature of defeating personal heroes while executing without pause. He separates admiration from objectives, proving legends can be revered while simultaneously ending their championship reigns. Such clarity doesn't emerge from instinct alone, but develops through systematic structure. Every adversary undergoes careful analysis, reduced to patterns, habits, and recurring tendencies, exploitable under duress. Rather than depending on cage randomness, he trains purposefully, rehearsing specific sequences until becoming automatic responses. Entire camps revolve around predetermined strategies, refined well before fight week rather than last-minute adjustments, eliminating chance factors. By cage entry, problem-solving disappears, replaced by executing plans already experienced, repeated, and perfected across weeks.
Some people are waiting for the gap, as you're just highlighting there. Some people, it's robotic because they've trained it and it's a certain combination that they're used to throwing all the time, waiting for the space. What are you looking for? In that moment, what are you looking for?
Topuria's deadliest weapon isn't power, but terrifying patience levels. He describes himself as perfectionist, refusing to rush conclusions. Even with crowds demanding violence, he awaits defensive gaps, systematically probing opponent protection until opportunities emerge. He withholds optimal combinations from initial or secondary exchanges, instead setting snares, moving his head and defending until precise microseconds for clean knockouts arrive. It's calculated coldness making him authentic predator. Additionally, Topuria admits the matchup didn't align with White House card expectations. He anticipated different Gaethje versus Pimblett outcomes, even favoring Pimblett's victory, which would have established alternative paths. Still, he always believed in event participation regardless of opposition. While opponent changes weren't fully expected, they didn't alter his bigger vision. He remained locked on being present when moments materialized. Specific philosophy drives Ilia through unimaginable training brutality. He believes medals are earned during camps, while competition simply provides collection venues. This mentality eliminates failure fears because hard work concludes long before spotlight appearances. By cage walks, victory feels pre-secured. He doesn't view fight nights as risks but formalities. This absolute certainty maintains eerie calmness while the world frenzies. Ilia reinforces his White House card conviction even without official confirmation. Mentally, it never involved waiting for calls or approvals. It concerned understanding his UFC value within their premier showcase. He viewed himself as supremely marketable, feeling exclusion from such events defied logical sense. When directly told about non-inclusion, internal acceptance never occurred. He moved forward convinced of eventual participation anyway.
I want to pick you up on that, because you just said to me, I always knew that I was going to be on the White House card. But this comes back to the prediction thing again, because you only found out the night before.
How did he always know? The Gaethje matchup wasn't Ilia's envisioned White House path. He believed Paddy Pimblett would achieve upset victories in previous contests, completely changing his trajectory landscape. Even when events deviated from internal scripts, Ilia's concentration never faltered. He treats opponents like interchangeable variables within larger equations, where he remains the sole constant. Whether facing strikers, grapplers, or brawlers like Gaethje, destinations stay identical. He seeks perfect clean knockouts every single encounter. That identical self-belief coexists with profound respect for competition levels already conquered. He speaks about defeating elite, Hall of Fame-bound fighters as something feeling almost surreal during reflection, especially considering their name magnitudes and sport accomplishments. Yet no disbelief exists regarding his achievements, just recognition that victories are now journey components and proof of his standing. He doesn't separate respect from ambition because every new challenge represents another opportunity, testing himself against sport's absolute finest.
Max and Charles, back to back.
Yeah.
They're all going in the Hall of Fame.
Every single battle is part of Ilia's vision beyond dominating one division. He's targeting legacy transcending traditional boundaries. He's openly discussed becoming 3-division champion before turning 30. This isn't fantasy for him, it's scheduled reality. He observes current champions without seeing obstacles. He sees checkpoints. His confidence builds on already dismantling the world's best offerings. In his mind, higher weight classes simply mean bigger targets for his undeniable power to discover homes.
But you stopped them all with a knockout.
Yeah.
Does that not feel...
Absolutely wild, right? Facing Justin Gaethje demands specific mental preparation because Gaethje embodies absolute mayhem. Most fighters attempt surviving chaos, but Topuria trains for mastery. He's evolving into lethal threats, thriving when stakes peak and environments turn most volatile. Every current camp round exceeds previous brutality, pushing his body toward breaking points, ensuring he handles whatever madness Gaethje delivers. He isn't just preparing for victories, he's preparing to permanently mark the sport's face. Ilia carries himself like fights are predetermined long before cage entries. Mentally, victory isn't something chased on fight nights, it's something assembled piece by piece throughout entire camps until nothing remains uncertain when moments finally arrive. That's why he speaks so openly about winning beforehand. It's not emotional confidence, but conviction built through repetition and training proof. To him, cages aren't where results are created, just where they get confirmed.
Ed, I'm fascinated with the way that you think, okay? I want to talk about things like that where you upgrade your bio. The win has already been done. The night before the fight, when you take the team out for a celebration, the win has already been done. I want to talk about that.
Away from cameras and promotion, Ilia's training sessions have become legendary for pure intensity. He imports different fighter types worldwide, specifically selecting those excelling in areas where he wants skill sharpening. When facing strikers, he finds the most dangerous available and forces high-pressure environments. He consistently defeats top-level athletes sent specifically as challenges. These private sessions birth true monsters, forged in repetition and violence furnaces. There exists haunting clarity in Ilia's striking discussions. He knows only one punch is needed to alter history's course. He doesn't need winning every second of every round. He just needs single openings. This knowledge maintains serenity and calm even when fights appear slipping away. He knows knockouts are coming because he's witnessed them thousands of times in his facility. He waits for opportunities with assassin patience, knowing once contact is made, nights effectively end for opponents. Ilia views his career through lenses most fighters completely ignore: the spectacle business. He understands being UFC products means more than just winning. It means being indispensable. This explains his White House card certainty despite initial rejection. He sees himself as high-value assets promotions simply cannot afford sidelining. This self-awareness provides unique negotiation power and confidence levels that rattle opponents before face-offs even begin. Setting traps remains central to Topuria's dominance. He doesn't just throw punches, he lures opponents into making unrecognized mistakes. He might display specific movements for 2 rounds, just triggering predictable third-round reactions. It's psychological games played at 100-mile-per-hour speeds. By the time opponents realize they're caught, it's already too late. His training camps are designed refining these traps, ensuring every movement has purpose and every exchange leads closer to inevitable planned finishes. Doubt is luxury. Ilia Topuria simply doesn't afford himself. He questions why he would ever doubt abilities already proven against absolute elite. He looks at his hands and sees tools that have rendered legendary boxers and MMA world champions unconscious. To him, self-doubt would betray his invested work. If he can achieve gym success in controlled environments, he believes it naturally spills into cages. His confidence isn't built on hope or ego, it's forged by physical realities of personal achievements. Every opponent Ilia faces gets broken into pattern and habit series. He doesn't look at Gaethje as human beings with stories. He looks at him as collections of repeatable tendencies, exploitable under pressure. His team spends hundreds of hours studying footage, identifying exact moments opponents drop hands or move heads predictably. This analysis level removes fighting from fights and transforms them into technical executions. He isn't guessing where Gaethje will be. He knows where he must be to land killing blows. While Ilia appears cold and calculated, deep emotional connections to victory exist. He admits loving victory feelings and rushes accompanying superiority proof. However, he never allows emotions clouding fight judgment. Inside cages, he's a machine. Outside them, he's a man taking entire teams out for pre-fight celebrations. Because mentally, wins are already historical facts. He celebrates victories before they happen because he's already lived them through preparation. People often focus on Ilia's hands, but his training dominance extends far beyond striking. He's developed scrambles and submissions equally lethal as knockout power. His strategy includes specific sequences designed for ground fighting and finishing there. If knockout opportunities don't appear, he doesn't want just beating opponents. He wants answers for every possible scenario they could present. Whether high-level wrestling exchanges or technical jiu-jitsu battles, Ilia is ready for dominance. The Ilia Topuria we see today differs vastly from his initial UFC entry. He's evolving into more lethal threats than ever before, fine-tuning skills to levels seeming almost unfair to divisions. Each practice becomes more precisely tuned, and each round focuses more on total destruction. He isn't just maintaining levels, he actively seeks new danger methods. This constant evolution makes him monstrous in peers' eyes and nightmarish for anyone tasked with facing him, even when confronted with behind-the-scenes chaos like last-minute fight plan shifts. Ilia's internal vision never changes. He recalls how close he came to facing Islam for titles, moments that would have broken lesser fighters' focus when falling through. But for Topuria, names change while destinations remain fixed. He aims for history, and whether facing Gaethje or Makhachev, envisioned results stay identical. This unshakable conviction is his career backbone and why he continues defying odds. Ultimately, Ilia Topuria isn't just a fighter. He's a glimpse into combat sports' future where mental certainty equals physical power importance. He proves when men truly believe victory is inevitable, the world bends to meet those expectations. Do you see him as confident professional or savage monster? One thing is clear, cages aren't where he creates results. They're just where the rest of us witness them. As doors close and lights rise, the only remaining question is whether anyone can survive storms he's spent lifetimes perfecting.